Alright, continuing on with our Nightmare Sony here. I got the front of this thing all put back together. I haven't done anything with that cracked plastic underneath because there's really nothing you can do at this point. If it breaks, it breaks. What can I say? I'm not that worried about it considering how high miles this thing is. But I just wanted to show you real quick, if I can find a flashlight that friggin' works. That's how those black plastic pieces go in. Those are the cassette springs that go in the front of the door here. I got them both back in properly. I consulted the service manual to make sure those were in properly. So yeah, we're all good there. We've done the front of the machine, so now it's time to get in here and do the capstan. So, and put the new belts in, of course. So let me see if I can find a way to get some slack on this so we can actually work on it. This thing feels like it's in a million pieces right now. Because it kind of is in a million pieces right now. There's just one screw holding that. Okay, now we'll release the eject mechanism by, like you saw there, I turned it to the side. Or I turned it up like this and then pulled it this way. That's how that comes out. And look at that, all that old grease we gotta deal with. Good thing we're in here. Because we do not want this old tired grease in here anymore. We want new fresh grease. It's gonna be getting new fresh grease, and I'm getting my fingers dirty. Wonderful, with all this old grease. Now, first I want to, well, first take this old dried up belt off, because that really needs to be replaced. Let's see how the capstan bearing is doing. Well, it's running fairly well. But we are here, so we might as well relubricate it. Just making sure I hold the bearing from the front so I can deal with any oil keepers, and there doesn't seem to be any on this machine. That's odd. I don't know why they would do it that way, but whatever. Okay, we'll just get this old belt off too while we're at it. That is just hard as a rock. I'm going to need to get in there with a dental pick to get that out. Don't know exactly what width belt to use here, but I've got 1.2 and 0.7. I'm probably going to go with 1.2 because this drives the take-up reel.
Everybody's a music expert, but everybody's not a stereo expert. That's why Sony has put together a system called Precision Balance Components. We put it all together to give you exactly the kind of sound you had in mind. So all you have to do is listen. Sony, the one and only.
Still a little bit in there to get out. I'll use my tweezers for that. And now we will get a Q-tip. Clean that out real good. Alright, that pulley looks clean. And yeah, the clutch, if there is one, is going to be in behind there somewhere. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my pipe cleaner out. I'm just going to chase it dry, the capstan bearing that is. And I'm just going to dribble some Androl in there. Wait, I'm putting the cart before the horse again. I gotta clean the actual capstan first, which I have not done yet. And I absolutely have to do yet, because it's filthy. Alright, we'll do a little reach around here so you can see what I'm doing. And we'll come in behind and get rid of any old grease remains back here. Okay, what else do we got to deal with here? There's some grease we ought to replace there, so I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. Just anywhere where I see teeth on teeth contact here, that's where I'm going to put new grease. And there's a fair bit to put in here, so that might have been too much, but whatever. And yes, I am doing the lazy thing and not replacing all the old grease first. Probably should be doing that, but I am not. So, capstan's about to go back on. Don't have to worry about an oil keeper, so I'm not gonna worry about an oil keeper. Okay, why is that so tight now? It shouldn't be. I'm gonna have to get out the acetone. I didn't want to get the acetone, but I'm gonna have to, because that should not be anywhere near as tight as that was. I'm running low on acetone as well, so I'm going to have to go to the hardware store and get some. Alright, acetone on a pipe cleaner. I'm just going to pull it all the way through from the other side, the way I have done in the past for other decks, like so. Now we'll see if we can get that lubed up enough to put the capstan back in. I don't know why it was so tight in there, but it was. Oh, much better. Much, much better. Slicker than snot in a doorknob, as it were. If I may use a really disgusting colloquialism. So, what I gotta do now is put the bearing back on, put the motor back on, put the transport back in, then maybe we can actually hear this thing play for the first time ever. Yeah, right, like it's gonna be that easy. Yeah, I really don't like chasing bearings with acetone, but if it has to be done, it has to be done. And this time it had to be done, because that was not going back in without a fight. Little grease there. Little grease here. And that should do the trick. Should be all set now. And I just realized I got to figure out exactly what kind of belt I need for this yet, too. So I'm probably going to have to shut you off for a second while I do that, because I know I found the belt specifications online, so once I find that again, I will know exactly what to use. And I already know what I need to use for the capstan, because I already got those set up ahead of time. I just didn't do that for this other belt. All right. Why, yes, I did put away my alcohol for no good reason. And at least I can be thankful to Sony for one thing. And that's that they went with this brushless, slotless motor with this thing, because I would rather deal with those than the usual garbage motors that come in these things. So yeah, when that direct drive unit comes here, or gets here, I expect the last thing we're going to have problems with is the capstan motor on that thing. It's not that it can't still fail, because the frequency generator circuit can still fail in those things, but usually it's not the motor in those that goes. Okay, so 89mm internal circumference for this little belt. That's what we're looking for. And if we divide that by 2, we get about 45. That might be it right there. Probably not. We'll see. Yeah, it's close. It's 50. Close, but no cigar. And I'm going to have to dump all these belts out again, I'm sure. Make a mess. Why not? Oh, let me put away my louver plate here before I get it into something that I don't want to get it into. Okay, what's likely to be around 89 here? Did I measure that one already? Probably. Yeah, that's close. I'll put it aside just in case I can't find anything better. There's another little one. And it's the same. Same. There's a littler one. That one's 43. So about 86. That one might actually really work best. So where am I going to put that? I'm going to put that on top of the motor assembly over here, so I know where it is. Do I have anything better? Probably not. There's another little one. That's even smaller. That will not work. Should probably order more of these 1.2s. So I have a feeling the exact belt I need has already been used up. So yeah, we're gonna have to try that belt, and then we'll go with the 100mm as a fallback option. But I think the smaller one is going to work. Yes, I guess we do need to figure out what belt to use out of the Deck Tech ones. How wide are we looking at here? $3mm. So we will go with the 3mm instead of the 4mm. That one. All right, we're good. At least I think we're good. At least I hope we're good. Can I get this thing back in the machine now? That is a good question. Let me move you back so I've got room to work here. So we should be able to listen to this thing now. Finally. After I don't know how long. Because my phone is currently being used to shoot this video, so I don't know exactly what the time is right now. But does anybody ever really know what time it is? I know I just put Chicago in a lot of people's heads, but I'm not sorry. Chicago's a great band. Oh, right, the counter belt. Just about forgot that again, didn't I? Transport's got to come back out. Where is my tape measure? Lying on the floor, because why isn't it? Or why wouldn't it be? All right, we need... Okay, well this is 95. Times 2 is 190, isn't it? I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, I'll just ballpark one. We need a 10% reduction on the overall internal circumference, so we go 5% on half the circumference, and we should be fine. Just trying to make sure my field recorder is still recording. That's not a 0.7, that's more of a 1.0, but it'll work, I'm sure. It's just turning a tape counter. All right, counter belt. 95. Well, we'll go a little smaller than 95. It'll be fine. And we absolutely need this counter belt to be in there, because if we don't put it in there, the deck will think it's not playing anything and then shut off. That's the same as just came out. Ditto. How about this one? Can I even pick it up? 85. We'll use this one. Because, yeah, this is a lot like the CFS 9000. In that the counter is used to tell the deck when the transport is actually working, so it has to be there. No questions. It just has to be there. So the question is, can I work this belt in there? It'll probably go in easier than the nightmare I dealt with on the other side, but who knows? The counter is way over here, so see if I can get a good access point on this. Nothing like getting the new counter belt tangled on something. My kingdom for half-decent flashlights. Good golly.
The Japanese, they're short. So their eyes are closer to the electronic components than many other nationalities. Caucasians are too tall and gangly. Hey, look how far away the Caucasian workers' eyes are from the integrated circuitry. That's why Sony products are better. Sony, because Caucasians are just too damn tall.
This is kind of tough. There, I got it through. Ain't nothing about Sony easy. apparently. So now that belt has to come through here. Over top of there. And onto that pulley. See if I can get it on there. Okay, we're good. Now maybe we can put it back together. Alright, maybe we can try this now before we bolt everything back in. I'm just going to reconnect everything. I just want to make sure this motor powers up properly and spins yonder belts. Yeah, everything's fighting me, even the connectors now. But that one is in. Got a connector missing. Where is it hiding? Oh, it's hiding way the heck over here. That's where it's hiding. I sure hope that's how that plugs in. All right. That should get her working. I hope it doesn't let any magic smoke out because of those connectors being plugged in wrong, but here we go. Power on. I'm going to run the mechanism. We'll bring you out front here so you can see. Yes, I know that hasn't been put back in yet, but that can actually be done with the transport in the deck, so. It's not moving real well. Okay, it's kind of slipping on the new idler. And I don't know. I think the clutch is weak. Dag nabbit. So I got to take the transport back out. I got to take all this stuff back off the back of the unit, and I got to try and get inside that idler. See if I can do something with that clutch.
Sunday, he's indispensable. He's ingenious. He's invincible. He's MacGyver.
Okay, so let me show you guys what's going on here. This is the take-up reel drive right here. You can see this is the pulley where the belt goes over to the capstan motor. And there's a little magnetic clutch inside this thing that's deteriorated with age, and that's the problem. There's supposed to be a little bit of slip between the pulley and this little brass thingamadoodle here, but there is entirely too much slip. So let me pop this apart and I'll show you what's going on inside here. So this is what it looks like inside. You've got a little metal disc inside the pulley. You've got this magnet here. Then there's this other little metal disc on the other side here, which is not magnetic at all. Well, I guess maybe it kind of is. But yeah, this magnet has just gotten really weak over time, to the point where it's not really doing its job anymore. So we're going to have to MacGyver something to increase the friction between these two parts. And how am I going to do that? I don't know. But we have to figure this out, because this type of clutch is used on several different Sony models. Not just this one. It's used on the TC-K61, 75, and the 81 also. So we have to figure this out, because we're going to encounter this again. Now, it could be what I need to do, since it was already kind of almost turning, is I need to decrease the tension on the drive belt to this, which is kind of where this belt comes in, because this is the not so tight one that I had set aside just in case. So I'm going to put that up there with the other belts. But we're going to get the junk box over here, and we're going to see if we can find something that'll work in the way of a washer maybe. So let me see what we got here. We got this old cassette mechanism from the old Audiovox car stereo. That might provide some parts. And here's some more parts of it here. Just got to see if I can find anything. There's a little spring here. I don't think that'll be the ideal solution to this, but we might try it. Now, the other thing it's important to remember on this unit is, you see this little area up here that's cut out for a clip? There was no clip on there. And I've never been inside this, and I don't think anybody... Blah, 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 blah. And I don't think anybody has ever been inside this unit yet, so it must have come like that from the factory. But it's really not that important, because... yeah, you do want a little bit of slip there. And this is actually doing a lot better without this little metal plate bolted down, but still not enough tension. Now, this is the danger you can run into with an old Sony deck like this that's been rode hard and put away wet. Because, yeah, when these wear out, there's almost no fixing them properly. So let me see if I can find some washers. Got some little insulators here for MOSFETs. One of those might work if I cut them up. But I'm just looking for actual washers first. I may not actually be able to find any. Yeah, I'm not really finding too much in there, so put that up there, and we'll see if we can figure out something with this. I've already taken most of the washers and stuff off this for other projects, so I don't know what we're going to find in here anymore. I'm certainly not really seeing any washers. We got a split washer there. That might hold the shaft on. It looks like it's about the right size, so how about I get that off there, if I can. This is kind of hard to do. Just kind of reaching around you here. Okay, I got it. So that's something we can use, maybe. There's some other washers here. But yeah, the service manual has two washers that go on the end of this. There's an E-clip or a split washer that goes on in that slot there, and then there's another washer that sort of holds it all together. But that would likely not be causing this issue. So yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have to deal with this, I think. Wonder if I could get these capstans out. What might be hiding under there? Might be some retaining washers there to deal with, but I'm going to go ahead and pry those suckers out because we do not need to keep this in working order. Well, that broke, but who cares? Got something underneath. I don't know what that is. Looks like it could be a washer. And it is a washer. Let's give that little guy a try. Let me clean the garbage off the end of this first. I don't know that that's any better than the spring. Just checking the lubrication on this arm. I'll show you how to put it back in when we get to that point. It might could use a little oil in there, but yeah, I don't know. I think I would rather use this washer on the outside of the shaft. And then we'll throw that spring in there. I think that's where I'm going to go with this. If I can pick that little guy up. So yeah, we want it to go in facing that way, I think. That way I can just add a little bit of tension. Now I'm going to take that out real quick. I'm going to clean it off. We don't need a lot of tension, we just need a little bit. Because it was almost working as it was. So, where is my luber plate? I'm going to put a little lube right down on there, and that's going to be the end of it. Yeah, I think this will work. Will it work well? I couldn't tell you. It is doing a little bit of scraping in there, so we'll see how it goes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this washer I found. I'm going to put it on there. We're going to reassemble this the way the factory service manual had it. Okay. Maybe that'll work better, maybe it won't. And I saw some mentions on various forums that there are shims that can be adjusted inside these clutches, but I sure didn't see any in this thing. So maybe it has been apart before. Can only guess. And yeah, you wouldn't want to glue the magnet to either one of these steel plate or either one of these metal plates, because then you'd have way too much tension. You would essentially lock this thing together, and that's not what you want either. So either this works or it doesn't work. We'll see what happens. Alright guys, the unit is back together, and I'm going to show you real quick just how that arm goes in, as promised. Just grab the transport here. I'll bring you in nice and close. Okay, so this is the arm right here. As you can see, I added a little bit of luber plate to the shaft there, so hopefully it's moving a little better. Now, there is a pin down on this end, down here. This goes underneath the bar from the head block. And I'm just going to show you how this works, if I can. If I can grab it from the other side here. Okay, when the head block moves up, you want this arm to move up and down, like so, on that spring tension. That's how it engages the take-up reel on the other side. Now, I found another problem on the other side, so I'm going to show that to you real quick. I don't know if you can see it too well. This is the other side of that arm where it goes, and this plastic is cracked all the way around in two places. So this pin is loose. I'm not too worried about that right now. At least I'm not planning to fix it because this is a non-critical pin. But yeah, it's something to be aware of. I found that when I tried to put this washer back on, that pin had pushed too far down that way. So I had to sort of push it back and get it set up again. But yeah, before we put this back together, I just want to see how it does winding it manually. So I'm going to engage the head block here to pull that arm up into position, and I'm just going to run it from the other side. It seems like it is doing better, honestly. I might go for another round of sandpaper action on the idler tire, but it seems like it is doing better. So maybe it'll actually work. The good news is, thanks to that spring I put inside that clutch, theoretically we should be able to vary the spring tension by adding washers to it. Nylon washers. Unfortunately, I don't have any right now. See, I use those a lot, and even though I had quite a few of them from various computer cases over the years, I just can't find any more of them, so yeah, next time I order from DigiKey, I'm going to have to get like a bag of 100 of those things or something, because I go through them. But yeah, there's actually a fairly good chance we can get this guy to play again, so I will do my best. And before I put this back together so we can actually see how it does, let's go around to the front. I was looking at this lamp situation again, and this is where the meter lamp is. Right down in here. It's actually right in there. You can see that little green thing? That's the lamp. Sorry about that, didn't mean to bump you. Anyhow, there was a bunch of this old light blocking fabric tape over it, which obviously keeps the light out from coming out around these controls, but I'm not so worried about that. I can use hockey tape to deal with that. So here's what I'm thinking I might do. If we can get the transport to work well enough to play tapes on this machine, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to take two of my 12-volt bulbs, run them in series, and then we'll run it off the 17-volt supply for one of these lamps. That should work. The lights might be a little dim, but at least we'd have lights again. And given how high mileage this unit is, I am just not interested in buying another set of lamps for this thing, just to get the right voltage or whatnot. So, yeah, that's the plan. We're going to hopefully get this playing first, and then if we can get this playing, I'll relamp it, and then we'll see what happens from there. And just another quick little announcement. I found a Sony TC-K61 on eBay just the other day. It's period correct with this model and the TC-K45, available in 79 and 80. The only thing is that one does not have the wood sides, and it has quite a few issues with it also. So the seller was able to post pictures of the transport, and it is the same transport as this guy has. So I am strongly considering buying that one for parts. At least as long as it stays affordable. I don't think I'd be willing to spend a whole lot on it, but maybe it's worth trying for, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go off camera, I'm going to reassemble this, and then we're going to test again. Alright folks, I got it back together well enough for testing, so let's just see what happens here. Is it any better at all? We're about to find out. I'm trying to set you up so you can see here. Alright, power's on, motor's running. I need to clean the capstan yet, but this is good enough for testing. Let's see what happens. Well, it is better. I think it's better. I did go back in with a looser belt, so let's just come in behind and we'll see just what the pulley is doing, shall we? Clutch is spinning at the proper speed. I did sand down the idler just a little bit more. I'm just going to watch it for a bit. I don't know that this will wind a tape. But you know what? I'm kind of in the mood to try winding a tape, so let's see what happens there. I need a sacrificial tape is what I need. I'm going to turn that off real quick, just so I don't short anything out by accident. Because I got to move this back in place enough to load a tape. I know you can't see what I'm doing. I apologize. Okay, I think we can load a tape through there now. I'm going to go with Milli Vanilli. I don't know if there's anything more appropriate than that. Oh, wait a second. I can't play that tape yet. I have to clean the capstan. We don't want oil on pinch rollers. That's never good. And I'm watching the take-up reel as I'm doing this, and I'm really not happy at all with what I'm seeing. We're going to have to increase the tension on that spring in there. I'm fairly sure now. But we'll try Milli Vanilli anyway. See what happens here. Yeah, see that? It's barely winding. If we leave it like this, it will eat tapes. But at least we can see the audio circuits are working. So yeah, we just got to get that clutch working better is all. Let me see if I can find something around the house yet I can still use to increase the tension on that. Because it still needs work. Alright folks, I am back, and we might have just pulled our feet out of the fire on this one. AudioVox to the rescue once again. I took apart the AudioVox mechanism some more and got a bunch more split washers, but the encouraging thing is I found 2 more of these little springs. Plus, this big thick washer, which didn't end up working at all. So what I've done is the clutch mechanism now has 2 of these springs, and they're installed with the crowns facing each other, like this. Then the other one is inverted upside down on top of it. So yeah, that might work because I have suddenly a heck of a lot more clutch tension on there. So might be too much tension now, but we're gonna find that out very quickly. So power on. And I forgot to clean the capstan again. Okay, that should do it. Let's find out what we got. Will it work? Oh, heck yes. Lots of tension. Possibly too much tension. We don't want to break the tape, but that might actually work. I can't believe it. I don't know if it's working well enough for me to risk a recording test or not on decent tape. But look at that. Milli Vanilli is currently blaming it on the rain. And it looks like it's playing just fine. We did it, guys! We actually got this thing to work again with that messed up clutch. Now, unfortunately, I've only got 1 of those springs left. So if the next machine should happen to have the same problem, I can't fix it the same way. I'm going to have to come up with something else. Most likely using felt for a clutch. But yeah, I do have lubriplate in between those 2 springs in that clutch, so hopefully it'll remain quiet, but we'll see. But yeah, this is real encouraging. As of right now, we are going to do the lamps. Okay, so the machine is back together well enough that we can do some stuff with the lamps. And I've got a couple of little micro lamps here. These are 12 volts, 30 microamps or milliamps or whatever. They're 5 millimeters, so they're a bit big. I think this takes 4 millimeter, but it should work. And the one for the meter actually had this little green filter on it, so I'm going to try to use that if I can. But yeah, first things first, we need to see how bright these are going to be. And fair warning, when you're putting one of these things together, it's going to want to pinch the head wires in between the cassette transport and the chassis. So beware of that. Now, let's see how bright this gets. Power on. And these are just the wires that used to run to the meter lamps. So let's just find out here. See if I can show you. Well, that's really quite dim. I don't know if that's going to work or not. And I'm betting that I'm going to nuke the 12 volts. Or nuke one of these lamps if I try to feed them 12 volts or 17 volts directly. But let's just see. Well, that's nice and bright. I don't know if I want to keep it like that or not. Let me just get the meter and we'll measure the voltage one more time. Just before we do this, I might go ahead and put a couple of 12 volt lamps in anyway in parallel. We'll see. Bring the meter over here. We need AC. And this is why I don't want to use LEDs, is because we're dealing with AC power here. Yeah, 16, 17 volts. A little high for 12 volts. Do I really want to do this? Really? I don't know. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. What the heck, if it burns out a couple of micro lamps, it's not the end of the world. At least we'll get light for a little while. Don't know how long. But yeah. I'm going to use these two wires, I think, for both. The space on the board I showed you, that's the ground for these two lamps. And I don't really want to... See, right down there. I don't really want to get down there and try to wire wrap that other one back on, so I think we're just going to parallel right with these wires here. Or rather, I think I'll run these wires to this lamp, then we'll run new wires down to that one. I've still got the other lamp here somewhere, if I can find it. So we're going to at least reuse these wires for one of these lamps. Yeah, that's the plan. So I got to get my soldering gear to do this, so I guess I might as well just do this off camera, and I'll show you the end result. Alright guys, I think I've got all this set up again. Got a new lamp in there, and a new lamp up here, and they both work. And I am very pleased to report to you that with both lamps in the circuit, they're both seeing 12 volts exactly. Well, not quite 12 volts, a little under that. But still, I'm very happy because, well, we got it all dialed in, I guess. So, let me show you. See, you got the lamp going there, and we got the lamp going up there. Let me just kill this one light here so we can see if we've got any actual illumination going here. It seems a little weak, but it actually is lit up. Just barely. Not much, but it doesn't have to be much. So I just want to check again. Okay, what happened now? Something's going on with that clutch again. It's running. It's supposed to be running. Now it's running. Something in there was binding up, but it's fine now. Give me a panic attack, why don't ya? Anyhow, it looks like this is about ready to go back together. We'll try Milli Vanilli again before we put it back together. Yeah, I think we're good. So, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to clean all these controls, put everything back together, zip tie this rat's nest back together, and then we'll see what kind of audio we get out of this. Could be there will be more work to do after that, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Alright guys, I think we're ready to go. I've got this thing hooked up to the home theater, so we're going to get to hear all of the quality possible without actually doing a capture on this thing, because I'm about done with this. There's a little piece that didn't go back in. This goes behind this little button here, and it doesn't need to be there, so it's not going back in. And I didn't bother re-gluing the plastic side panels on the ends of this thing either, because, well, it's got the wooden panels to hold them on. So fire it up. I'm just going to do another quick little test play. Why does it do that? It initially didn't fire up again. That's working well enough. I want to hear this thing. And hear this thing I will. Okay, we're going to go with a new vaporwave recording I made using the Excelia. So normal bias. Let me crank up the volume on the home theater a little bit there. Well, she's got some low end. She's running a little slow. You know what, guys? I think this is gonna work. Is it perfect? No. There's a little bit of high end missing. But there's actually less missing than I thought there would be given the condition of the heads. So I think we got this going now. Unfortunately, I forgot to check the speed while I was in there. It does seem to be running slow, but I'm not really that concerned about that. I would rather not put my test tape in here, because if it eats the test tape, then I'm screwed for future decks. So yeah, mission accomplished. We got this thing actually working and playing. I didn't think we'd ever get this far, but clearly we have. So I guess that's going to be it for today, guys. Take care. See you next time.